Hi, sixth graders. You're to the point of this assignment where we're going to be talking about what is a topic sentence. Now, you know that a topic is what something is about. So topic sentence is probably going to be an incomplete sentence that lets the reader know what your writing is about. And you're writing an essay, or you're about to be writing an essay that has to do with what does it mean to love your country. So what do you think the topic of an essay like that could be? A topic sentence is usually the first sentence in a paragraph or a piece of writing. This sentence tells what the paragraph of the piece of writing is going to be about. So in your essay, it's probably going to be about loving your country. We're going to try an example. Now, this example has nothing to do with loving your country. It's just a paragraph that will help us figure out, well, what's a topic? Everyone should wear a life jacket when they are on a boat. Life jackets have been proven to save lives. No one can predict when an accident might happen. There may not be enough time to put on a life jacket, but if you're already wearing it, it may save your life. Now, what is the topic of this paragraph? What is it letting the reader know? Did you say that first sentence? Everyone should wear a life jacket when they are on a boat? Look where it's at. It's at the beginning. A lot of times when sixth graders are writing an essay, especially an informative essay, their topic sentence is usually at the beginning or in the first paragraph. The topic sentence, which when you get into the higher grades, they'll probably call it the thesis statement, same thing, introduces what the paragraph or the essay is going to be about. We've talked about starting out a sentence or a piece of writing with a hook. Remember when we were writing our narratives? And we started those out with a question, or you started it out with a word description, or maybe even started out with dialogue. Now, in informative writing, you're probably not going to use a dialogue, but you might use a quote from a famous person. How would you grab your reader's attention? Let me give you some examples of hooks that you could try out in your essay. Started out with a question. Here's a good one. Have you ever wondered what patriotism looks like to a sixth grader? That was the topic of our essays last year. So you might not use patriotism, but maybe you can work in another word that makes you think about loving your country. Maybe you want to start it out with a feeling or an emotion. Imagine waiting your whole life to experience freedom. That might grab their attention. Or you could try out a quote. John F. Kennedy once said, "Ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country." That's a great way to grab their attention. Or maybe you want to start out with a complaint. Why do we have so many rules in this country? Or maybe you want to try out that repetition. Choose one word and weave it throughout each of the paragraphs of your essay. Maybe you want to use a word like freedom or pride or Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know. Maybe you have a better idea. Or maybe you want to start it out with a word picture, like a description. The United States began by people deciding that freedom meant more than living under the rule of a king. That's a great way to grab someone's attention. Can you think of any you might use? Jot them down. Well, we're going to practice. Here's an example paragraph that came from an essay by a sixth grader. Can students show their patriotism in school? I would say yes. If you were to walk past a classroom at the beginning of the day, chances are you might hear students reciting the Pledge of Allegiance. Holding your hand over your heart as you speak the words is just one way students can show their patriotism at school. Plus, it also shows how we might love our country. But do you have a different way that you could start that paragraph out? They started with a question. How might you start it? Here's another example from another sixth grade's writing. They wrote an essay about what does it mean to be an American. Look how they started. What does it mean to be an American? I'm an American. You're an American. My parents are Americans. We use the word so freely, yet do we really know what it means? Ask 20 different people and chances are you'll get 20 different answers, which is what this assignment will probably show. I talked to my parents, for as long as I could stand, about their view on what it means to be an American. And they put most emphasis on the fact that being American means we have rights available to us like no one else in the world. So this writer again chose to start with a question, but what's a way that you could start this one out? Well, that's what you're going to be doing is you're going to be thinking of examples of how you might start out your essay. You're going to go through the Ed puzzle and answer some questions about this video. And then in the next section, you're going to be working on coming up with some of these ideas to begin your own essay. I can't wait to see what you have.